Thank you. For those of you who don't know my work, we're going to have a little slideshow up here that'll kind of cycle through a selection of my work over the last 15 odd years. My name is Reuben. I'm an artist. I work primarily in watercolors and charcoals, figurative work, representational work. And ever since thinking back to high school, I've only ever wanted to make work that moved people. When you're young, you focus on technique, you focus on trying to attain the skills necessary in order to communicate whatever it is that you want to communicate. And of course, I did that and drew a ton all day, every day when I was a kid. And then you get into school and you start working and showing in galleries, and it becomes all about the concept. What's the idea behind it? The technique matters less and less. The idea matters more and more. And I've always been somewhere in between, because what's mattered to me wasn't necessarily how it looked or what the idea was, but whether or not it connected with people. In high school, I actually, while everyone else was drawing comic book characters or, just kind of tripping out on surreal imagery, lowbrow stuff, I was the kid that put together a short-form comic book that addressed sexual abuse and handed it out to my school for free in order to raise awareness. And that thread has kind of continued through with everything that I've done. Everything that I've done ever since then has been to communicate an emotion, to elicit a response, to inspire dialogue, or to affect change, and ultimately to connect with people. I feel that representation matters, and that when we see parts of ourselves in artwork, in movies, in music, in any kind of media, it allows us to be seen. It gives us validation. It makes us not feel so isolated, or it's a way to make us feel whole and to connect with one another. And so my work has always centered around that fact, that idea that I want to connect with people and really move them in a way that makes my work not necessarily easy to digest, but is definitely something that you would want to sit with and consume slowly. To that point in moving people, there are good experiences and not so good experiences. My work is regularly censored online. I have spent the better part of the last, my entirety of being on social media in some form of shadow banning or just outright deletion. I'm constantly being threatened with losing my account because I want to share images like this, and whoever it might be that's in charge deems that unworthy or unacceptable to share. a lot of my work deals with complicated issues, body image, sexuality, identity, mental health. I deal a lot with isolation. I deal a lot with a lot of internal struggles. And I put that out there to share with the world. The people that I work with are not professional models. They are friends and family. They're people that I get to know through events like this, just talking to people. And they volunteer to work with me. And so in that, they are being vulnerable and brave and sharing their narrative, sharing their story. And I am translating it into an image. I am the font through which their story is being told. And because of that, I always want to do my best to honor and respect and support and advocate for anyone that ever works with me. Because it takes a lot. It takes a lot of bravery to be on display in such a public manner. And I absolutely just love that about everyone that I work with. You know, I mean, I draw bravery from their bravery, you know, from their vulnerability. And it kills me when nameless organizations, corporations, people, you know, through the filter of the internet or through invisible influence, make that work unseen. Or label it as unworthy. To share a couple stories about censorship and the ways that my work has moved people in not so positive ways. There's an image on here that it's one of my favorite paintings I've ever made. It's difficult for me to quantify what are my favorites and because I mean everything is you know, a child that I'm birthing and putting out into the world, not to get too esoteric about it. But there's a painting, I don't know if it's already shown, but it's two men nude sitting on a sun porch in a very intimate, delicate embrace. It is one of my favorite pieces I've ever made. It is the embodiment of sensitivity and caring, and it is also the image that has been censored the most in my entire career. So much so, I mean, censorship online at this point is expected. It's pretty much unavoidable. But it's also been censored in galleries. One story that really kind of still hits me was I was having the piece included in a group show, and we traveled to the gallery. It wasn't close. It took us a day to get there, and we show up at the opening, and the piece isn't hanging on the wall. And we walk in, and it's just like, what the fuck? It's the only piece I had in the show, and it's not even on the fucking wall. And the gallery director didn't give me the decency to let me know it wasn't going to be hanging. So we show up, and the gallery director is freaking out. I guess maybe he wasn't expecting to see my face. He's completely embarrassed. And he goes and he takes down another artist's work and hangs mine up. And I'm like, that doesn't make it any better. Now you're censoring someone else in order to, you know, make right what should have been taken care of earlier. So my head is spinning, it's racing, I'm thinking all sorts of thoughts, I'm angry. And I'm holding a glass of wine, because what else can you do at an opening but, you know, kind of like remain calm, stay professional, drink the free wine, and kind of wait until it's all over so that you can really address the major issue. And I'm standing there by the painting, and it wasn't up front. It was kind of like behind a desk, like around the corner. And this family comes, they turn the corner, and there's a dad, his wife, and little kids, and he sees the piece, and he wraps his hands around their eyes, and he says, "Don't look, I'll save you." And he turns them and walks them away from my work. I laughed. I just, the visceral reaction that he had to something that I see as, nothing more than just beauty. It hit me hard. It hit me hard, and it really kind of like drove home the disparate reactions that people can have to my work and the way that people can be moved in positive and negative ways. In that moment, that was a really important moment, and I'm really glad that I saw that. I'm really glad that I experienced that, because in that moment, it solidified my resolve to support and advocate for every single person I have ever worked with, even more so than I had beforehand. Because representation matters. Seeing yourself matters. Seeing parts of you in art matters. And even if it's difficult for people to see it, it opens up that opportunity for dialogue. It opens up that opportunity for me to go ahead and ask them, why do you feel that way? Why did you have that reaction? Where does that come from? How did you form that idea? And in doing so, engage with them. And in turn, perhaps have them see things from my point of view, or question their point of view in a way that they hadn't had to before, because they had never been challenged or never been questioned on those thoughts. But I digress. That is not to say that every reaction to my work is negative. One of the reasons why I do the work that I do is because I have had so many positive interactions with people. And those positive interactions are what moves me to make the work that I make. As I said earlier, a lot of my work deals with body image, it deals with mental health, it deals with questions of sexuality, identity, isolation, and this is the painting that I was referring to, Chris and Mario. Thank you. Yeah, this piece has been censored the most, but it has also been written about the most. So let that, tell you what you need to know about the ways people kind of process the imagery and their reactions to it. But like I was saying, I've also had super positive reactions to my work. I have at gallery openings had people cry because a piece that I made triggered a memory, a positive memory, where they saw their progress. They had seen how far they came in their journey. I've had people tell me, how moved they were to see bodies like theirs painted in such a way that showcases its beauty rather than its flaws. I have had people write to me extensively saying, that they appreciate the content and the mood and the feelings because they feel that way. They see themselves. They connect with it. And it isn't just idealized beauty. It isn't just what we see in mainstream media as worthy of being seen. It is everyone. It is everyone and everything, and it is sensitive, vulnerable parts of ourselves that I want to share and that people find in my work and that they also want to contribute to it. I wrote on my name tag today that what moves me is representation. What moves me is seeing myself, seeing others, and being able to do that for others. And I will continue to do so because I have always done that, and at the core of my work, that is what it is about. So, yeah, I guess that's it.
Reuben Negron.
Thank you.
That was so good.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Amazing art. Really, truly.
Thank you.